What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the third preview and prediction video I will be putting out for all of you fine people today. It's coming to us from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and the first Red River rivalry matchup that we get in the SEC. This historic rivalry moves to the best conference in college football, and boy howdy, is this one going to be an absolute thriller. Quinn Ewers and the Texas Longhorns are going to be taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. Michael Hawkins, Brett Venables for Steve Sarkisian. This is just going to be a fun one, as Red River usually is. It's usually fun and chaotic. I do believe Oklahoma won this matchup last season. I'll fact check that here as we go along and correct myself if necessary, but let's dive on into previewing this one. First off, I got to say thank you for all the love and support that I have seen this season, whether it's here on YouTube or elsewhere. And I'll tell you how to support me any way you can. First off, if you want to help support me here on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed yet, first of all, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. If you're as big of a college football nerd as I am and haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, as well as liking, commenting, and sharing. All help support what I do here on YouTube. But you can also go give me a follow on Twitter, guys. It's at TailgateNate29, and I post about articles I write, games I call, and everything else I do in the sports media realm. I was correct. Oklahoma did win this one last year. It was the only regular season loss for the Texas Longhorns, and Texas looking for some revenge. They're the #1 team in the country, and Oklahoma's got a lot of question marks surrounding them, but it's time to dive on into this one from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. A 2:30 game, or I should say a 3:30 game, 2:30 in my time zone where I'm at right now, but a 3:30 game. A lot of people feel like, come on now, this is the game that should be kicking off at noon. I agree with that crowd, but it's not going to change where this game is played, what time it's played, whatever have you. Let me take a water break. Let's tell you how we're going to dive on into this one. Hey, we're going to start previewing this matchup by going through some keys to the game when both teams possess the football. So we'll first look at what happens when Texas is on offense against this Sooner defense, and then we'll look at Oklahoma's offense against the Longhorn defense. At the end of the video, I'll go through what I expect from this one, give you some final thoughts, as well as tell you who I think is going to win the game from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Let's first start out with this Texas offense. I do believe, from everything I've heard and read, Quinn Ewers should be back, should be the starting quarterback for Texas here in this game. Even if it is Arch Manning, while he's had some moments of not playing well, overall, both Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning have been phenomenal quarterbacks here in this season. Now, I'm not going to go through any stats because obviously they're going to be way lower. Arch Manning does lead the team in passing right now, but Quinn Ewers, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks on 73% completion percentage, over 79 passing attempts. That's the number that you need to be wary of. Those are the stats that you need to be aware of for all intensive purposes. This is the pass game that is very, very dangerous. They've got a lot of phenomenal weapons. Jaden Blue as well as Jarrett Gibson in the backfield for Texas. Gibson, by the way, a true freshman. Both of those guys have been running well. Isaiah Bond and Wingo and Golden, and even the tight end in Helm have been some really good wide receiver / pass catchers for Texas this season. The offensive line has held up, and yeah, maybe they have a little bit of a turnover problem, right? I believe 3 fumbles on the year and 2 interceptions by each of Manning and Ewers. That is 4 total here. So you've got to get the turnovers cleaned up just a little bit. But overall, guys, this is absolutely a team here in Texas that just looks overall like a complete offensive unit. Now, when you take a look at this Oklahoma defense, it has stepped up from where it was last season, and the name of the game here with Oklahoma is to be able to stop the run. That is what their game plan is, so they're going to look to slow down Jaden Blue and Gibson. That maybe not necessarily is priority number 1. It shouldn't be. It should be getting into the backfield. With those 18 sacks Oklahoma has forced so far this season, be able to get into the backfield and wreak havoc for Texas. They've also forced, I believe, the 3rd most turnovers per game so far this year. 13 turnovers forced on the season. You got to force some turnovers here for Texas. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But Ewers in the pass game, I think, is going to be able to feast here. It's an Oklahoma secondary that has struggled this season. Oklahoma throws a lot of resources at being able to defend the run, and it's what they do well, but they have to game plan for Quinn Ewers here in this game. They have to game plan for this Texas passing attack because when it gets going, it is lethal, and it can absolutely light up this Oklahoma secondary and flip on a switch whenever it chooses to. Oklahoma's got to be ready for this passing attack to be electric for Texas, and the secondary is going to have to take a big step in the right direction for Boomer Sooner here in this game. And I want to move down to the last little key there that I put. You're going to want to build some defensive momentum. Again, this has been a Texas offense that has really been able to cook with whatever it chooses to so far this season. When you take a look at this Oklahoma defense, right? What does it do well? Well, yes, defend the run. Now, if you can take the run game away from Texas, that's great. You can focus more resources on the pass, but Texas is perfectly capable of winning this game, even if it only gets 3 to 3.5 yards per carry. That's just how good this pass game is. It also speaks to what Oklahoma's done offensively, but we'll touch on that later. For Oklahoma here, you might need to win that turnover battle. You might need to force some pretty crucial turnovers and build defensive momentum. Defense turning into offense is what's going to help Oklahoma here win this game. And the one thing that I do want to say here, and this speaks to the offense as well, and we'll talk about the Sooner offense here in just literally moments, but is Oklahoma going to be able to expose something that we don't see within this Texas team? Because right now, Texas looks like one of the most, if not the most complete team in the entire country, especially offensively. And the offense doesn't really seem to have any true weakness. I mean, sure, the turnovers have been a little bit of a problem, but the team is great on third down. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Their offensive line is fantastic. Can Oklahoma expose something that maybe we don't see? Because Texas, I mean, up to this point, hasn't necessarily faced the best competition. And I know, sure, they went on the road and played the Michigan Wolverines, coming out with a big win in Ann Arbor. Michigan's been a team that has struggled so far this season, and this very well could be, maybe besides the Wolverines, because that defense is legit, it's really good. Besides Michigan, this will probably be the best defense that Texas has faced so far this year. Can Oklahoma find something that Michigan had success with? Can they expose something that we have not seen from Texas yet this season? That is something that I think you should watch out for. Let's talk about what happens when Oklahoma has the football, and well, this is an offense that quite simply just has not lived up to expectations in any sort this year, and it, in a lot of ways, has just kind of been downright bad. They're only scoring around 28.5 points per game, which honestly is a lot higher of a number than you'd expect with some of the other stats they have up here on this board. Not even 300 yards per game, not even 5 yards per play. I mean, they've been able to limit turnovers pretty well, but they've allowed 14 sacks this season. That third down conversion percentage is awful, and it's what has led to the discrepancy in time of possession for the Sooners this year. I mean, guys, there really is no other way to put it. The offense has got to pick up. Period. End of story. If Oklahoma cannot get something going offensively and use whatever their defense is able to give them, whether it's turnovers or sacks or negative plays or forcing punts, Oklahoma has got to be able to utilize the defensive momentum that the Sooner defense will build, because it is going to have its moments where it's going to have some really good defensive plays here. It's got to be able to use that momentum. It's got to find something on offense. Michael Hawkins is going to be starting here, the true freshman, again, with Jackson Arnold and his struggles being benched. Hawkins, I believe, is going to end up being that starter here in this game. If not, Jackson Arnold has got to be able to do a little bit of a better job, especially at pushing the football down the field. He just has not created a lot of explosiveness for Oklahoma, but I think that's exactly what they have to find. They have to find that explosive tendencies. It's been there. There have been some explosive plays for Oklahoma so far this season. It has not been anywhere near on as consistent of a basis as it needs to be. Oklahoma has got to be able to find something offensively here. Otherwise, this is the Texas defense that has been lights out this season. It's been one of the best in college football. The secondary is amazing. The defensive front creates pressure. It defends the run pretty well there as well. And in this game, it's going to show a lot of pressure. It's going to attack this line of Oklahoma that has allowed 14 sacks so far this season, that has not really let this run game get going as effectively as it should. The run game is only averaging 3.7 yards per carry. All of that has got to get better for the Sooners in this game. Otherwise, this is the Texas defensive front that is absolutely going to eat this offense alive. But what did I speak on earlier, right? This, I have no doubt, is a Oklahoma offense especially that is going to show you some things that it hasn't seen on tape before. And if you are Oklahoma, what you want to hear Steve Sarkisian say in the halftime interview is, sure, maybe Texas has the lead, but maybe this Oklahoma defense has done its job and only allowed Texas to score 10 points. And I'm stealing a line from Josh Pate here, so forgive me, Josh, but I agree with him, so I'm going to repeat it for all you fine people who may not have heard it. You want Steve Sarkisian to say, I mean, yeah, they're throwing some things at us that we really didn't prepare that well for. Great. That's exactly what you want to hear if you're Brent Venables or if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan. You got to be able to throw some new looks at them. You got to be able to get this Texas defense on their heels, because if you can't solve that puzzle, I mean, it could end up being a long day for the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I'm going to sort of break down this game in one way, and then I'm going to completely go back on everything that I say. So first off, everything that you have seen so far throughout both of these teams this season, it is in Texas's favor. They have the better quarterback play. They have the better offense. They have the better defense. They have the better playmakers. Texas is better in almost every single category. The one thing that Oklahoma has that I think Texas not necessarily doesn't, but that Oklahoma has or does a little bit of a better job of, is creating that pressure, is building that defensive momentum, is forcing those turnovers and letting your defense take over to help you win games. That has got to happen for the Oklahoma Sooners here. If not, it could end up being a very, very long day. Now, you have listened to everything that I have said about this game. Great. This is Red River. Wad it up in a big paper ball and toss that thing out the window. Red River is chaotic. It's always crazy. This is going to be a lot closer of a game than a lot of you people think. Could I see Texas running away with this ball game? Yeah, absolutely. I could easily see Texas covering that 14.5-point spread. This is Red River. You have to expect the unexpected, and that's exactly what Texas should prepare for. Like I just said, guys, Oklahoma's going to throw some looks at this Texas defense that Texas has not seen on film, that has not prepared for. Oklahoma's going to come in with some tricks up their sleeve, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this being maybe like a 21-17, or if it's a little more low scoring, which I think this game is going to be, maybe about a 10-7 game going into the locker room. Maybe Oklahoma has the lead. Maybe they're only down by just a little bit. I think Oklahoma's going to keep this one a little bit closer than most people think. However, I do see Texas being able to pull away here at the end, and they're probably going to be leading this game by double digits throughout the latter portion of the second half. I think a late score from Oklahoma makes this one look a little more respectable on the scoreboard, but going back to what the stats say and what we've seen out of both these teams, not enough offense for Oklahoma this year. The Texas defense has been amazing. Oklahoma will get some momentum going. They'll create some good defensive and offensive plays. Won't be enough. Texas will survive. They will win the first Red River rivalry in SEC history. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.